Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zhongkong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Dorshi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the good practice this evening, Mahachundi Buddha Mother. Sumu, Tanjung Capital, Tufton City, Tufton Kama. All Dharma masters, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma tutors, temple and center directors, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening. How do you do? What is the Vajra name for Jundi Buddha Mother? The pure Vajra. Actually, this word pure is mentioned in the Vimalakirti Sutra. That the Saha world is the contaminated world. It's extremely difficult to be pure because the Saha world is fundamentally pure, impure. By comparison, the Vimalakirti Sutra, it's mentioned that in the Pure Land there is no such term as purity. But the Pure Lands are inherently pure. Why there is no term about purity? Because there's no need to mention it. Because over there is no turbidity and there's no impurities there. It's originally all pure. Only in the Saha world we need to talk about purity because it's a contaminated place here. So in the Pure Land there is no contamination, no impurities, and there is no purity. Grandmaster's voice is too low. Can't hear. So no impurities and no purities. So that's non-duality. Because there are many Dharma gates about opposites, like about purity and impurities. But since there are no impurities, why do you need to talk about purity? So talking about the omnifragrant Buddha verse, there's no need to maintain or to keep the 5 precepts. How come? They don't need to abide by the 5 precepts at the Buddha of accumulated fragrances place. First, not to kill. There's no need to kill because there are no living beings there. So only in the Saha world we have. The wars nowadays are about killing. And not to steal. There's nothing to steal there. To solve. It's already max. This is max. So everything, the trees, the forests would emit fragrance. And there's no need to rob anything because they have everything. The palaces, all the precious metals, precious jewels, like the gold nowadays, the experts say it's going to reach 3,000 an ounce. And it's already 2,700 now. And in the past, I found 1,700 to be too high. Now it's 2,700. And sexual misconduct is the same. There is no need to abide by the precept because there are no ladies there. There are no ladies in the omnifragrant Buddha verse. There are no females in the Pure Lands. Everyone is the same. So you don't need to maintain the sexual misconduct precept. And about evil speech, they've never heard of that. Because in that Buddha verse, there's no language and no words, no need to speak. So where could there be any evil speech? So because you speak, that's why you have evil or harsh speech and false speech and frivolous speech or gossiping, rumors, divisive speech, but they don't need to speak. Not only in this omnifragrant Buddha verses, in the heaven of light and sound, there's no need to speak. All you need to do is just to emit light. Light represents sound. That's why it's called the heaven of the sound of light. And you don't need to abide by the precept of not drinking alcohol. That's the last of the 5 precepts. They only have fragrant rice there. So by eating a grain, you would have fragrance all over your body. The skin pores would emit all fragrance. And there's no need for numbing and or eating anything. And you don't need to produce anything because the omnifragrant celestial princes, they generated the vows to provide for all the beings there. So that's how it is in the omnifragrant Buddhaverse. There's no need to abide by the 5 precepts. And that's the intrinsic suchness of everything. No need. But you have to abide by the precepts because they are transgressions. But if you're already pure, you don't need to be purified. So it's stated in the Vimalakirti Sutra, the Dharma gate of non-duality. So that's how it is. Suchness. So Buddha Mother is also called the pure Vajra, without any impurities or contaminations. And the greatly victorious Vajra represents her boundless power. It's good enough to refer to her as pure Vajra. So, talking about purity to all of you, it's without contamination, then there's no need for purity. So, there's no such term as purity. If you emphasize purity, it's only when you deliver sentient beings in the Saha world. So now you should clearly understand the Dharma gate of non-duality, right? Let's share a joke first. That would be more fun. At the public bathroom, like the stalls, like there are several different toilets and in different stalls, and you can still hear though, right? There is a man sitting on the toilet, and he heard a voice, "Hey, how are you?" And he replied, "Oh, not bad." And he said, Can I come over to your place?" No, no good. I am busy. And then, what are you doing? I'm having my bowel movement. And then the next door said, "Okay, I'll call you back later." And there's some Dumbo next door, in the next door, answering my question. So that guy wasn't talking to him. Hey, I'll call you later. There's a Dumbo next door. A twin brothers. Whatever they do, they always compare with each other. So the mom asked them, so you want some rice or buns? And the answers are always different. And then mom asks, so do we eat rice or poop tonight? Then they have the same answer. The astronaut from America and Chinese astronaut met in the outer space. And the American said, Chinese are so rich, and you even lit the Great Wall. It's a long dragon that's beautiful. And the Chinese astronaut said, you are 250, which means your brain brain damage. That's traffic jam. Now we'll do the Q&A. Question from Lotus Changpai from Malaysia. This means pale. Anybody from Malaysia here? Anyone? By the name Lotus Changpai. But it's written here, Lotus Changpai, which is respected Grandmaster Amitabha Buddha. I have some questions for you. If someone pays for a psychology course from others and compiles it into their own set of True Buddha Tantra, the Buddha Dharma, and to share and teach others, does this conform to the True Buddha lineage? That's a very strange question. Someone registered and paid for psychology, and then mix it into True Buddha Tantra and then teach others as True Buddha Dharma. Does it conform to True Buddha lineage? So you study psychology and then you change it into True Buddha Tantric Dharma. Wow, what a transformation. That's admirable. Oh. You transform psychology. Well, psychology is a science, and True Buddha Tantric Dharma is also very broad. Actually, sometimes we should understand psychology too, right? What is the correlation between True Buddha Tantric Dharma and psychology? Now it's your turn. You transform psychology into True Buddha Tantric Dharma, and then you speak the Dharma and teach. I don't know what they are asking.
心理学的真活秘法，真活秘法的心理学。
Psychological to Buddha Tantric Dharma or to Buddha Tantric Dharma psychology. If you understand, you can talk about anything in True Buddha Tantric Dharma. It includes psychology and many things. Like for the public, you can also talk about health. That's also important, right? And psychology is also important, right? So any logi, any study is also important. Philosophy is important. Buddhist study is important. That's why there are the 5 studies of Buddhism. And one of them is logic, learning logic. And arts and crafts. That's about skills. Like technology, computer, those are all considered, or AI, those are all in the skills and crafts and arts. And medicine, skills and arts, and then logic, and the inner study, that's Buddha Dharma, and language, the study of language, English, French, German, are all considered languages, Sanskrit, Tibetan. So the 5 Buddhist studies in Sichuan include many things. So if you study psychology, it's also slightly related to logic, the 5 studies. But you transform psychology into spirituality. Does it comply to Buddha lineage? We're not so strict that you only talk about Grandmaster's teachings. No. All Buddhist studies are included. All the studies of the 5 studies. You can talk about skills and technologies, computers, health, medicine, anything. So we can say it that way. Everything comply to Buddha lineage as long as it's good and beneficial. Now do you understand? Is it true to say, based on the shared teaching, one has heard that if one first does good deeds, heard a teaching that they have done good deeds and merits and then performs a homa, and then the wishes will come through within 3 months. Is that true? So first you do good deeds, and then you perform homa, and it can guarantee the wishes will come true within 3 months. Is that true? These questions are so... really. So strange. When you do good deeds, you don't think about it. Spiritual cultivators are supposed to do good deeds. What kind of merits will there be? No merits. It's right to do good deeds, and then don't worry about it. There's no such thing as called merit. The Vajra Sutra stated it very clearly. If you often think about doing good deeds or creating merit, then that's not right. So the Vimalakirti Sutra also states it very clearly. You say that you have performed good deeds. What is that? What is the good deed? So you were to go to Israel and Palestine and told them not to get into wars? Of course, that's a good deed. And you shout to the sky? That's also a good deed. But whether they fight or not, that's their problems. So when you have good and bad, then that's already opposites. But in the omnifragrant Buddhaverse, at the Buddha of cumulative fragrances, there's no such thing as called good or bad, and also not in the Pure Lands. Because that's the Dharma gate of non-duality, and you keep thinking that, oh, you've done good and how much merits you have, then there are no merits whatsoever. And then you perform a homa and can guarantee that the wishes will come true within 3 months. Then I would register. I will register for your homa then. I can't even guarantee. Of course, we hope that your wishes will come true, but nothing is guaranteed. Oh, this is so fixated. It's like a guarantee that within 3 months your wishes will come true. Even God cannot guarantee, right? How dare I to guarantee? We just do our best. We try our best. And then you just perform your roles and duties and do our best. Who can guarantee and bet on it? No such thing. Third, do homa offerings to prevent invisible beings from snatching them have to be covered with cloth. And the offerings need to be consecrated in advance. You cover yourself with white cloth and then you will not be stolen or robbed. You know, even the ghosts can pass through the walls. The ghosts have supernatural powers. There's a kind of ghosts that have 5 supernatural powers. They can go through, they can pass through the walls. How can they pass through a piece of cloth? No such thing. So, but when we do our Dharma practice, we would always set boundary protection. Like when Grandmaster performs Homa on the 4 pillars, that's for boundary protection. Yeah, so we do have to do boundary protection when we perform Homa. Because this is in the Saha world, you need to purify. So that when you do your Dharma practice, you're not disturbed or distracted. So you have to set the protection. And if you don't want your qi stolen while asleep at night, you also have to do the protection, the boundary protection. When you go out, you need to do the armor protection, Om Buran Sari. And also whether you're at home or you wear clothes, get on bed, do Dharma practice, you need to do protection. And the protection is invisible. But you don't need like a white cloth to cover the offerings, then the offerings will not be stolen. So we do need to set boundary protection when we perform Homa, Dharma practice, or at home, or when sleeping on the bed. Before sleep, you need to pray to your own yidams so that you have a good night's sleep that night and you would have auspicious dreams. You need to pray to your yidam so that you don't have bad dreams or nightmares. How can cloth protect it? You need to do boundary protection. No wonder your name is Lotus Sampai. Because you're always scared, so you're so pale. Oh, there's so many amazing, unthinkable problems in the world, like people asking for consultation, all kinds of unimaginable questions. A lady got on the plane for the first time and she was so excited and initiated chatting with the handsome man next to her and asked him, where would you get off the plane? And then he said, we are on the same plane. Where else will I get off the plane? The same with you. Will I jump off the plane in the middle? Oh, this is only Chinese words. Yeah. As spiritual cultivators, we should not dislike any friends. We are all equal. We should view and treat all beings equally. On the national holidays, we have 7 days off. So many people travel. They are 20,000 national travel or 10,000 travel inside the province of 5,000 the peanut. It is also homophone. Like me, without income, we just travel inside the room and at night just travel in my dream. my sister-in-law came home for dinner, and she immediately fell in love with my brother and asked me to introduce them. And I said, "It's nuts. You want to, if you become a couple with my brother, then who would be, because we call the sister-in-law 嫂子." So the younger sister of my husband wants to get married to my older brother. So I said, this is crazy. Because if they got married, then who would be the older sister-in-law? Both of them. There's no difference. One more. Mom told me, you don't have kids. Then in the future, when you die at home, nobody would know. And she replied, so what? Even if I was discovered, can I come back to life? Once you're dead, you wouldn't know anything. Now we'll discuss Vimalakirti Sutra. He said, the Saha world, and Sakyamuni Buddha delivering sentient beings, he used the term suffering to transform and deliver sentient beings. Suffering to teach sentient beings. Truly, the Saha world is suffering. There's lots of suffering in the Saha world. There are not much happiness in the Saha world, but there are lots of sufferings. So Vimalakirti said, that the humans in the Saha world are obstinate and difficult to transform. They are like horses, as an example, like the elephants and horses. If you don't, what's that called? They would not follow if you don't beat them. So they have to feel that pain to whip them. If you don't whip them, if you ask the horse to run, they would not run. But if you use the spur, like the spur to to poke on him so that he feels the pain, and then he would run. The same with the elephant. And you need to train them. So those in the circus become obedient because you beat them. They only listen because they were beaten and they were given something beneficial. And the way Sakyamuni Buddha teaches sentient beings is using suffering. Hells are suffering. Or the suffering of cutting tongue, of plucking out your hearts. There's lots of suffering. those are the sufferings in hells. And the hungry ghost realm without any food to eat. It's just about the same with the hells. And animal realm, they are very foolish and stupid. So the Buddha used this method to teach sentient beings, to teach humans with greed, that if you have greed, you'll fall into the hungry ghost realm. And with anger, you will go to hells, and with ignorance and foolishness, you would fall into animal realm. So you use these methods to tame human and sentient beings, because the humans in the Saha world are very obstinate and difficult to tame. So they use severe methods and punishments in order to be subdued. So they use this sleeper cycle to teach sentient beings in order for them to be disciplined. So when all the bodhisattvas heard that, when they heard what Vimalakirti said, of course, like the 9 million bodhisattvas in the omnifragrant Buddhaverse have no 6 rebirth realms. So they never heard of it. This is unprecedented. The world-honored Sakyamuni Buddha, despite having immeasurable power of self-mastery, hides his boundless abilities and uses the Dharma most suited to the lowest and poor to liberate sentient beings. So he said, Sakyamuni Buddha is truly great, that he conceals his merits and powers of self-mastery, and just to lower himself to be like sentient beings in the Saha world, and to utilize the Buddha Dharma to transform and deliver sentient beings. And in the Saha world, there are also many other bodhisattvas who are the same. And that's truly incredible. So Sakyamuni Buddha and all the bodhisattvas in the Saha world endure the deliverance of those obstinate and difficult to tame beings. That's truly very difficult. And the great bodhisattvas in the Pure Lands have no hardships. They don't have to work so hard. But the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the Saha world have to endure lots of hardships and put a lot of hard work in delivering sentient beings. Truly, the Bodhisattvas are humble and compassionate, manifesting such a Buddhaverse. So 9 million bodhisattvas from the omnifragrant Buddhaverse said, wow, you are so compassionate to deliver sentient beings as such in the Saha world. You're truly too compassionate. Vimalakirti said, the bodhisattvas in the Saha world possess strong compassion for the all sentient beings. In one lifetime, they benefit sentient beings more than the bodhisattvas in your world do over hundreds of thousands of kalpas. Why? So Vimalakirti said, the 9 million bodhisattvas in the omnipresent Buddhaverse of course do not know that the sentient beings in the Saha world are helping sentient beings all their lives, the bodhisattvas. So what they do are full of hardships and lowly. Compared to other Buddha verses by hundreds of thousands of kalpas. So these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas work a lot harder. But in the Saha world, there are 10 virtuous dharmas. There are 10 amazing things that do not exist in other Pure Lands or other Buddha verses. It only exists in the Saha world. That's spoken by Vimalakirti. There are 10 virtuous dharmas that do not exist in other Pure Lands. They only exist in the Saha world. What are these 10 virtuous dharmas? Spoken by Vimalakirti. They are generosity that attracts the poor. That's the first virtuous dharma. You give. In the Pure Land, is there a need to give? There is no need to give. Everyone is the same and very happy. I don't need to give anything. Giving only exists in the Saha world. So this method of giving is to transform poor sentient beings. Like our Lotus Light Charity Society of True Buddha School or Sangyen Lu Foundation all perform charities, which is giving. So after you give, people can generate faith. And there are many kinds of giving. Giving Dharma. So by speaking Dharma to them, for them to hear, and you can also give. You can give Dharma, and you teach, guide, and deliver people around you, your good friends, your families, your people around you. That's also giving. You're giving Dharma. And you also, there's also giving wealth. If someone is poor, you can help them. That's giving wealth. And then giving fearlessly. And you can even give your own life, body, power, energy. You can give them all for public goods. When you volunteer, that's also giving. When you don't make much money, but you you work to help. So time, money, your energy, your strength to help. That's all generosity, and that only exists in the Saha world. And we don't need to do any of those in the Pure Lands. So that doesn't exist in other Pure Lands. It only exists in the Saha world. So our True Buddha School has Sangyen Lu Foundation and Lotus Light Charity Society or Charitable Society. So that's all charity work, giving rice, food to the needy. That's all giving. And the precepts of pure moral ethics that overcomes our ourselves and conducts, and also to help others. Pure precepts. So we have to maintain the precepts. You have to keep the precepts. By keeping the precepts, you will not violate them. If you learn the precepts, then you will not create karma. Because the sentient beings in the Saha world, their speech, acts, and thoughts are all karma, are all transgressions. Because your thoughts will influence your actions and your speech. It's only in the Saha world you need to keep the precepts. In the Pure Lands, there are no such thing as precepts, and you don't need to keep the precepts. I have said it earlier. What do you desire in the Pure Lands? You all live in the same place, the beautiful jeweled palaces. And the food you eat, like in Sukhavati, it's the pure, sublime Dharma. That they travel around all the Pure Lands to make offering. It's written in the Amitabha Sutra. So in the omnifragrant Buddha verse, they are the fragrant ornament princes that would provide. So there's no need to steal or anything, and there are no woman or no female, so there is no such thing as sexual misconduct. So they don't need to abide by the 5 precepts. But in the Saha world, we need to have the pure precepts to overcome violations. You cannot kill, steal, lie, sexual misconduct, and drink. So the pure precepts to control your conducts and thoughts, and patience and endurance to subdue anger. The general practitioners need to practice endurance. It's fine, whatever people say, everything is fine. And you will not get angry. We are humans, right? Whatever they say, if you're angry, then you fall into the trap. And then it's on your mind all day long. Then you're tormenting yourself. You're so dumb. Someone said something, and then you keep it in your mind, in your heart, and then you feel bad for days or months or years. Then you're tormenting yourself. Just don't worry about it. Don't let it affect you. This is endurance. Why do you need to care for it? Just whatever they say, doesn't matter. That's called endurance. Why don't you have good sleep at night? Because you were thinking about the insult that happened in the daytime, and then you have afflictions that you don't understand, that you're actually tormenting yourself. Then you live a very hard life. Then you feel that you're being mistreated by that person and that person, you're bullied by that person. How come the whole world is filled with evil people and you're the only one that's good? But the mouth on them, you know, they're not good friends, they're not your seniors. So of course they will not say nice things about you. They only say nice thing if you give them some benefits. Otherwise, why would they? They always talk about bad things about you. That's why in Taiwanese we have a saying of the 10 mouths, 9 of them are very stinky. How many of them will praise you or talk good things about you? That's impossible. Nobody will say nice things about you. Most of them would always say bad things about you. If you can endure it, then you start suing them. But as a spiritual cultivator, we have to be patient and endure it and throw away all those garbages from your body, from your heart mind. So endurance does not exist in other Buddha verses. In the Pure Lands, there's no need for words and languages. Those 9 million Bodhisattvas in the Omnifragrant Buddha verse, they don't need to speak. There are no words, no internet. The internet insults, you know, that you write an article and you harm so many people. You don't know. But there are no words, no language, no speech. So where could there be slanders and rebukes? But Buddhist practitioners in the Saha world, they have 10 virtuous dharma. That endurance can also cure or subdue your anger and rage. But actually, in my opinion, endurance would not be able. You endure like that. I'm so angry. And you try to endure. And you can't beat them, you can't kill them. You're so angry that you clench your teeth. So how could there be endurance? But if you treat it as if it's nothing, well, they're responsible for their speech and you just do what you're supposed to do. That's good enough. As long as what you think, what you do is right, you don't care about what others are saying. No need to be angry. As soon as you're angry, then the fire of anger burns away all the forests of merits. All merits that you have accumulated will be burned away. So when I saw the news on TV, this beat that, that beats this. Someone's going to buy something, and the salesperson wasn't nice, and then they use a baseball bat and destroy the shop, and then encountered big problem because they could not endure. But it's okay, everything is fine. They're humans. Because you're humans, you have to tolerate and endure. You need to endure that can subdue and harmonize your heart mind, always calm and peaceful and happily live your life. Spiritual cultivators have to cultivate endurance and not be affected, and don't bother with those. And diligence that defeats laziness, because humans are always lazy. Not very many people who are diligent, like myself. The only strength I have is that I must finish my homework for today. I never procrastinate to tomorrow. I never let it pass to tomorrow. All the things that I need to do today, I will definitely complete them today. That's how I am. That's why not many people can write over 300 books. Of course they are, but not many. And look at the successful people. They are mostly workaholics. Like the successful people like Bill Gates. He's a workaholic, and I'm too. Every day I must write. Whether it's little or more or less, I would have definitely to sit down and write every day. If I don't, I would feel bad. If I don't practice today, you don't chant Hiking Sutra today? No, you can't. That's diligence. Spiritual cultivators. If you're lazy, then of course your disciples would learn from you and become lazy. Well, I'll do the practice tomorrow. And tomorrow, the next day again, and then the next day again, and then the next day again. And then until the day you die, there's no more tomorrow. And then you haven't done any Dharma practice. So my writing, my Dharma practice, gratefulness, that's something that I have to do every day. If you live and you don't do anything, then you lose the meaning of life. Every day I must do my Dharma practice, I must write, paint, and then be grateful. Just be grateful to all sentient beings. I don't dare to slack off, and only then you would have attainments. So diligence to defeat laziness is one of the virtuous dharmas. Meditative stability to calm scattered minds. Scattered minds is horrendous. When you sit down and do your Dharma practice, and yeah, the thoughts that come by are so complex, complicated, and countless. And you practice in the middle of your practice, and your mind has fly away and gone places. Sometimes that happens, and you need to detract them back and focus. And focus means meditation. When we perform the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, why is it so complicated? In left nostril, out right nostril, in right nostril, out left nostril, and two nostril in, two nostril out. Left and right alternating. It's just what the heck? That is to absorb your thoughts, then focus your mind on the breathing. And by training on it, gradually you would become focused. and then you can concentrate on whatever you do, then you would be amidst meditation at all times when you focus. But our brain would run away and scattered and keep thinking and thinking, and eventually you'll get mad. Like at night, you should focus on sleeping. You can't because your brain keeps running and running and think this and that and think of all kinds of things. How can that be? That would not do. This is something that many people, this is a problem that everybody has, that many people have. If your mind is disorderly and your brain is scattered, you cannot focus, then your body will also go unwell, and your qi, your energy, will also disperse. So that's why don't speak too much. You don't speak when you're in bed, when you eat. So, and you need to learn to focus. And wisdom that dispels ignorance. Oh, meditative stability that calms scattered minds. Lao Tzu said that if you can maintain single-pointedness, then you can achieve everything, anything and everything. And Sakyamuni Buddha also says, if you can be one-pointed, then you can achieve everything. Sakyamuni Buddha and Lao Tzu said the same thing. That's called meditation. You only have one mind. That's meditation. And even better, if you have no more one mind, no thought whatsoever, then you can enter the subtlest kind of meditation. Meditation is divided into coarse, subtle, and the most subtle or the subtlest meditation. And wisdom that dispels ignorance. There are many foolish and dumb people in this world. People are always stupid, lacking wisdom. By studying Buddhism is to learn wisdom. Simply said, so Buddha Dharma teaches us that in the world there's nothing belongs to you. Then you will not have any fixation or attachments. Even yourself is not yours. Even you yourself is not yours. That's spoken in the Buddha Dharma. Why are human beings so foolish and stupid? Because they have so much self-attachments that I am me and others are others. Then that's an attachment because others do not exist and you also do not exist. Like someone told me, Grandmaster Lu, you know, the expert said, oh, the gold will go up to 3,000. Why don't you buy some gold? And there's some machine. I mean, you can buy it at the machine, but what use is buying gold? You can't even run away with gold. Gold is very heavy.
1公斤1公斤的，3公斤4公斤5公斤，5公斤的黄金你就拿不太起来了。
So say 5 kilograms of gold is impossible to carry.
就是让你呆看。
So you can carry or you can't bring it anywhere with you. So it's only for you to see. Why don't you just place a heavy rocks and visualize it to be gold at home? So humans are very dumb. They're very stupid and without wisdom. Look, how many people play the stock markets? Many people ask me, how about this stock? Will it go up or down or what? No, I don't give advice on this. I never play the stocks. No, I never do those. So whether you have more or less, what benefit is that to your Buddhist studies? I'm not envious at all to the rich people, the richest or second richest or whatever, or however they can spend however they want. I'm not envious at all. As long as I have good health, I can sleep well at night, that's good enough. Money too is useless. You cannot bring it with you. At the end, it becomes empty, nothing. It's better to donate it all. In our will, it will be written in the future that the Jupiter Tantric quarters will be donated to whom, and the South Mountain Retreat to whom, and we will donate everything we have. And for the children and descendants, as long as it's enough to live, that's good enough. We don't need these things because none of these things is yours. So you have to have wisdom. Don't be so dumb. So what money do you want to make at this stage? But if I don't accept offerings made to me, that will not be acceptable as well. Yeah, but it's all voluntary. So it's all okay. I always joke that you give the big pocket to me and then the little sum give it to Hanifa, but Hanifa just collects them, and then she would give it to me. And then I would also say that it's okay if you don't make offering too, because I don't really need it. I can't use it. I don't get to use it at my stage, at my age. Only that is wisdom. If you're still looking for money now, then what kind of wisdom is that? Everything is empty. Gold, silver, jade, and all the precious metals and all those. What do you want them for? The same with properties and lands. Many old people buy that. And sometimes they have in this country, in that country, and they have money all over the world. And at the end, when you die, those belong to the banks. And you have no accounts. Nobody will get them. So you need to have wisdom. So you have to have wisdom. The wisdom can dispel ignorance and stupidity. Now my 3 cars are given by Hanifa, Rolls-Royce, Bentley. All these 3 cars were offered by Hanifa. Just to play every day and just change different cars. It's just fun. Are they my own? No, I don't think so. I never think that way. One day you cannot ride on it anymore. Who will they belong to? Who knows? I have looked beyond that long ago. Name is yours, but when you're gone, the name is gone too. Nothing. Everything is gone. This is wisdom. But the stupid people would be attached to this and would never let go. Then they would suffer. That self-attachments and afflictions are generated from this self. So sometimes use your wisdom, use your own brain to think. The fact that you can go to the Pure Land and Buddha verses, that's the greatest wealth. The fact that you can go to the heavens, that's also indicate the greatest wealth. The fact that you can understand true Buddha Dharma, that's the greatest wealth. It's with the greatest wisdom. Buddha Dharma is the greatest wisdom. But those people out there, they're busy all their lives, and everyone is the same. So, Han San, in his poem, that everyone got just like a earth bun, because they were all buried on the ground, right? And you were buried inside it. It's like a mound of earth, right? So that's all you get at the end. So it's good to go to cemeteries sometimes, because then you can take everything lightly, because eventually you will be there just like them. That sooner or later we all gather at the columbarium, Twin Lotus Pond columbarium, or the columbarium in Taiwan. That's it, nothing else. So with wisdom, you don't want to create karma. We want to eradicate the karma. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme.